The only camera missing is mine, which is because I had used it last week for this. So let's just shift this down in size. No. There, that's the right one.
Hey, Serrani's on the list. For now.
Serrani's on what list?
The D&D Beyond overlay.
Oh.
Sometimes him and Sharpeye just disappear.
Ah.
I don't know why. It's just like we'll be there and I'll look at the overlay list and all of a sudden me and Sharpeye are just gone.
I think there's like arrows at the bottom of it so you can cycle through. I think there's too many bits.
Yeah. But sometimes they're just not on there at all. Like last week, we both came off and it was just the four of you.
That's fine.
And there wasn't an arrow. That's fine.
Serrani's on the no-fly list.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, maybe if he picked up a few more levels in Druid, that wouldn't be the case.
No. He needs to pick up levels in Wizard so he can take the fly spell.
No. I take levels of Ranger so I can just fly.
Ah.
Granted, it's 10 feet, but...
Assemble your swarm and just float towards people like an old Hollywood vampire.
Oh, good God. Oh, good God. This is our Tuesday D&D stream, A Dark and Hungry God Arises. We are here to bring you the D&Ds. Just so you know, we are at 572 followers on the road to 1,000. Every single time we hit a new 1,000 follower milestone, we are going to give away a legendary bundle on D&D Beyond. So we are slowly and steadily working our way towards that. There is a link down in the panels below that you can share on social media in order to attract attention to the stream, and there's a little leaderboard there. And sometimes we give away prizes based on that leaderboard. So, make the push. Get people over here. Let's see, what else? We have hit 100 subscribers for this month. Every time we hit 50 subscribers, we give away a set of dice. So, another 50 subscribers, we'll give away another set of dice. We hit the first 2 milestones for dice giveaways in the first few days of January. We'd love to give away another set by the end of the month. So, if you want to participate in that, or, get out there and, again, bring people in, and we'll do that. We'll give away some dice. That is care of our sponsor, farboco.com. You can check them out on the website. The link will pop up in chat every now and then. Go over there and support them because they love to support us. What else do we got going on? We have another art contest coming up. The Sharp-Eyed art contest ended, and Tau Kapow did the art for Sharp-Eyed. He won the contest. I'm going to get the tokens uploaded to both D&D Beyond and Foundry this week, as well as send out his prize, which will be a fully colorized Hero Forge miniature version of the artwork that he did. We also have some prizes for second and third place. Rick,
really?
Your Sharp-Eyed was the third place. The prize is not super awesome. You are going to get gifted a tier 2 subscription to the channel, so you'll have access to other emotes and all of that. But that's the third place.
Can I give that away?
Yeah, you can give that away. I'll let's see.
So give that to the bit leader at the end of this episode.
Okay, so whoever has spent the most bits at the end of this episode will get a tier 2 sub from Rick for his third place prize.
Unless, of course, it's David. In which case it goes to the default.
David gives subs. He
I sometimes give bits, but yeah,
mostly subs. Emmy got second place, and she'll be getting a premium set of dice from farboco.com that nice. I am going to be purchasing for our second place prize. But anyway, we are into the next contest, which is Angelica from the Dance Macabre game. Her description is on our Discord server. There's already been 2 submissions for artwork, but throw your hat into the ring, submit some artwork of Angelica, and you could win a couple prizes.
See, I'm in the opposite of what Emmy was in the Sharp Eye contest, where she wanted to do a human because she doesn't do monsters very well. I do monsters really well. I don't do people very well. So I don't think there's going to be an Angelica submission for me this time.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, I can do monsters. Monsters are real easy.
Can I just trace over some line art of Homura Akemi from Madoka Magica?
Oh, my God.
I don't see why not.
Let's see. The last thing is, if you are a player in any of the games currently, there is an announcement in the announcements page about the updated character application. I'm asking all of my players to submit, to answer those questions and submit that to the email that's listed there, so that I have the most up-to-date information about your characters going into the tiers 3 and 4 of play going forward in our games. A lot changes over the months and months of play when it comes to your characters and their backgrounds, their goals, their ambitions. So I would like to know what the most up-to-date information on that is, so I can continue to revolve the stories that we have around your characters, and keep them the central focus of the games. If you've already submitted it, thank you very much. I appreciate your promptness. That announcement just went up last week. And if you haven't yet, please go to the announcement page and find the instructions there, and do that for me. That would be most appreciated. I think I have 80% of Monday's players, and I think I have 80% of the Tuesday players as well. So yeah,
I will get mine to you as soon as I am finished composing the novel-length answers I have started.
Exact same for me. I there are 20 questions and each one's like a freaking page long.
I think I got off easy in this group with some of those questions, like your past. Yeah, I don't have a lot to go on.
My past is everything that's happened in the campaign so far.
Yes. Yeah.
I just submitted like a crude drawing of some peanut butter I did of Mirth, and I hope that's enough.
Yeah. I mean, Mirth has that worthless of a background, I'm sure. I mean, it's not like we don't have multiple NPCs that are active NPCs in campaigns that consist of creations that you've had a hand in, Kim.
I put a banana slice for each of them to represent them, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Very nice. As long as it was detailed, I'm sure it will be fine.
I actually put Mirth down as one of mine.
Oh, good God.
My influence grows.
Yes, he probably put it down as past romantic entanglements.
No, that was the sorcerer outside the bush that exposed himself in front of him.
Oh, yeah. Good God. In any event, those are all the announcements. Why don't you guys go ahead and start introducing yourselves and your characters, and we'll get this show on the road.
Hello, everybody. I am Big Lundy here on Twitch as well as on Twitter. I am playing the Seer Iron Fist, the Astral Self Monk, who is currently engaged to our party cleric, Luna. He is here to try and provide the moral centering of the group. Sometimes he does not do that quite as well as he wishes, but he does his best to try and keep everybody on track to be heroes.
Hi, I'm Noor. I'm playing Luna, the party's half-elf grave cleric. She's engaged the party's monk, Basir, and she's sometimes the party's leader, mother, friend, and yeah.
Official cat herder.
Hi, I'm David. I play Angus O'Galvin. He is a phantom rogue. He is morally conflicted, dealing with the fact that he has been reincarnated multiple times, has a host of people crowding his head, recently learned that he was cursed by Enon Volkmar, and has recently returned home to see family and friends for the first time in a little while, and arrived at a time when they are in mourning for several children at the village who were abducted and sacrificed by night hags.
Hello, my name is Kim. I play Mirth, the party's bard, warlock, arcanist, researcher, and the most widely traveled of the party. He collects lore and stories and seeks to bring peace and safety to his family, as well as more of Oridon now, thanks to some growth he's gone through, and is currently in Darkhaven with his sister, Joy, and is very excited to see her.
Hi, my name is Rick. I'm the Loophole King. I play Sarani, your resident Swarm Keeper, Circle of the Spores, Sylvan Warden. I probably will pick up Rogue and Wizard. I was going to pick up Wizard, but we didn't stay in Drayan, so no. Sarani is currently trying to focus on becoming more attuned to the upworld as opposed to his simplistic view of how things appear to be and what they actually are, and has made a huge step forward by offering his condolences to a halfling, and helping out the children kind of forget about what's going on at the funeral at the moment.
I'm the Mark Knight. I am your dungeon master for this afternoon. When we last left the party, they had arrived in Darkhaven, and Angus was able to have a conversation with his mother and father, discussing the fact that he is the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th reincarnation of a
seventh reincarnation, because we're going by Doctor Logic, so the best Doctor.
Reincarnation of a long dead elven mage, and placed the question before them of, is this still my home? To which they responded with, fucking duh, as lovingly as parents can. Essentially letting Angus know that regardless of how lost he may feel, there is always a place for him to return to. Which is hopefully true for many of the heroes here. Mirth had a chance to interact with his sister, who unfortunately Joy discovered that Mirth had just given away solace like a vendor at a flea market, just kind of throwing it away for the lowest price possible. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Joy discovered that her sibling souls, which were safely kept in the Sword Solace until they could be safely escorted over the river into the hands of Thondra, have instead been placed into the hands of a devil. Though Mirth's purpose was good, he has come to make an oath to his sister that he will get his siblings back. The party spent some time getting quietly settled in to the town of Darkhaven. for their short visit before moving on to Geneva. And in the dark of night, things in Darkhaven seem much, much less happy than they had, than they have in a while. Each of you experienced dreams the night before. Unpleasant dreams. The seer, as you slept, you found yourself at the monastery. Instead of the events that took place fighting the demons, you find yourself in the midst of them as they overrun the home that you grew up in. Your friends stand there in the midst of it, attempting to protect the students and the masters from these dark creatures, and yet, at every turn, you watch Angus fall, and Mirth. You watch Sarani burn up, and you watch as Luna is torn to shreds by dark, clawing hands. You don't see the aftermath of what happened to Master Crow. You see the actual beheading of this Kenku who took you under his wing in a literal sense at moments, as demonic forces don't sever his head, but rip it from his body. Your dreams are violent. They are chaotic. And all the while, somehow you cannot call upon your key to give you the help that you need to stop the horrors. You feel your arms and legs restrained, and complete inability to stop what is happening or intervene in any way. All you can do is watch as those you care about are destroyed in front of you. Over and over again, until you wake up in a cold sweat. Luna, in your dreams you find yourself in Limil. But instead of being able to administer a potion to restore those who were suffering the curse, you find yourself beating upon blocks of ice that were once the people you loved. You simply want to save them, and yet it's impossible. The echoing voice of the Ice Devil laughs in the distance, and you hear Thondra telling you that you failed, and that none of them will come to her side. As you look through the blocks of ice, you don't see only your family and friends here, your father and those in the village. You find your companions as well. mixed in amongst the icy forms that you once loved and currently do. And yet there's no way to restore them. Angus, you've sailed into a town on the bloodthirsty sun. The captain calls for the men and women of the crew to raid the town. Head in, ransack what you can. Leave no survivors. They don't want it getting back to the Westons who did this. And it's only until you're in the midst of the blood frenzy of chaos and collecting of wealth, you reach the center square of the village and realize that the bloodthirsty sun has just raided Darkhaven. Mirth. You're the one sitting in the cell, and Pride is coming to visit you. You're fingerless, and your tongue has been removed. Your crimes have finally caught up to you. Pride looks down at you and says, "Well, it's just you and I now. All the rest are gone. Ever since you gave the demon that sword, or ever since you gave the devil that sword, it's only been downhill from there. We'll never get them back. It's all your fault." Serani, you return to the caves below to find your circle. The mushrooms are dried out and rotted away. You enter the grove, and there's blood. You find the rabbits and Ricanian slaughtered. You find the trees have been burned. You find Baraldi and the Myconids have been drained of all life. Gone. And when you get to the great fungal network beyond, you find it has been torn out, destroyed, ransacked, ruined, ripped apart. It is no longer there. You're alone. There is no more circle. There's no more sovereign. There's no more anything. Just an empty cave. You wake the next morning, each of you, in your respective places of sleep, if that's what you could consider this. I will need some rolls from each of you, and I will let you know what they are in a moment. Actually, Never mind. You gain no benefits that a long rest would normally give after this night. You do not sleep well. Additionally, each of you has your hit point maximum reduced by 10. When you awaken, you hear a cry in the village. You've been mostly staying towards the middle of town, or towards the square, where you can see the church and that statue on the map. And you hear from the various places that you are a shrill shriek of terror in the early morning hours. The sun is barely peeking over the horizon, and the sky is dark and gray, with tinges of red just on the edges.
Well, Seer's definitely going to pop out, roll his neck, and investigate this scream.
Ronnie's going to look around, find Luna, and I'm assuming I'm assuming we stayed close together, ish.
Probably.
Okay.
You've essentially stayed where the village can put you up. Angus probably stayed with...
In his childhood bedroom.
Yep. Mirth is likely with Joy. And Sarani, I'm sure that you and Sharp-Eyed are posted up outside as usual.
Right.
As far as Asir and Luna, they would have found spaces for you. Somewhere in one of the homes in the square that has maybe a spare room here or there.
So Sarani's going to hear the screams, reach over with one of his vines to gently tap Luna on the shoulder and cast Gift of Alacrity on her.
Okay.
What's that?
And you get an extra 1d8 to your initiative for 8 hours.
Thanks. So yeah, Luna would probably follow Basir as well.
Okay.
Just
Meeting up
thinking,
with Surani and going towards.
I think Gift of Alacrity is a one-time. It's up to 8 hours, but one initiative roll you can add the D8 to it. I think is how it works.
No, it says for the duration.
I think it's all of them.
It's all of them. You touch a willing creature for the duration. The target can add 1d8 to its initiative rolls.
Okay, well that's better than I thought it was then.
Yeah, it's really good on my Thursday night game because the DM does the rolling initiative where we roll initiative every round. So it's really powerful in that version.
I'm gonna wake up and just immediately check my thumbs are there.
Yes.
And wiggle around.
You have thumbs and a tongue.
Lovely. And then I immediately turn and shake Joy awake.
You turn to wake Joy awake, and you find that she is already up and moving.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Luna? Did you just roll your initiative and a D8 and still get under 10?
Well, it shouldn't be a D8 plus 2.
No. Luna gets an extra +2, so so from her shield, so he added the +2 to the roll.
Yeah,
So yes,
an 8.
he rolled initiative with a D8 +2 and still rolled under a 10. Oh, Nor, you poor, poor soul. I don't know how you manage it.
Look, man, I can only help so much, right? Like, that's if I could twin cast it on you, Nor, I would. Like,
But yeah, Angus wakes from the nightmare. He's up in his childhood bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the sort of very cramped second story of the house, sort of tucked away at the back. Sort of comfortable. It's been well maintained by his parents. They wanted to make sure that whenever he was visiting, that he had a place. He's a little bit unnerved by the dream and what he saw. Takes a moment to orient himself. Hugs Horatio close, and Horatio is the only stuffed animal that Angus ever had growing up. He's a little plush owl bear,
Nice.
named after Horatio Hornswoggle, the very dashing adventurer of the children's books that his mother used to teach him how to read.
Mm.
And when the cry goes up, Angus hops over the bed, struggles to get his trousers on, grabs up his sword, doesn't have time to put on his armor, and so dashes down the stairs and out the room of the church looking for the party. Is still carrying Horatio with him and hasn't noticed.
As you assemble, along with several members of the town, the O'Galvins, Joy, you see the mother of the child who was saved by the dance, and she is clutching the child in her arms, and she is screaming, "He's not waking up. He's not waking up."
Sarani's going to spring. Or is she right outside her house?
She's running towards the church.
Okay. Sarani's going to head, look to Angus and say, which house is hers?
Second on the left over here. I'll show you. And Angus just forward step and go with Sarani.
Yeah. And I'm assuming Sharp Eye's right behind us. And I'll
yeah.
follow.
Yeah, Sharp-Eyed is right behind you. What are the rest of you doing as Angus, Sarani, and Sharp-Eyed head towards that house? Mother O'Galvin is moving towards this woman to try and calm her. You're muted.
It's a relatively big town, right?
I mean, it's what you see on the screen.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just turn over to Vizier. Mirth's hair is tousled, and he has you've never seen him with this little jewelry on. He stumbled out the door. And he just looks at you and goes, Vizier, canvass the town, make sure nobody else is like this.
Yeah, sure, of course. Sorry, still waking up.
Luna, you were muted when you were talking, so I'm not sure what you said. Yeah, I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. It's weird, because it was fine before. Maybe try unplugging it and plugging it back in again.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Tech support 101, huh, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying we'll go towards that woman, or at least towards the house, wherever goes Vizier and Mirth.
Vizier's gonna go ahead and he's gonna tell Luna, stay and investigate with Mirth. I'm going to take a lap around Darkhaven and see if anybody else is going through the same problem.
Are you okay?
I didn't sleep well.
Yeah, Neither have I. Anyways, be careful. Meet us back here.
I will.
Angus, as you run towards this home, you get a flash from your dream the night before of the building on fire, and members of the crew of the Bloodthirsty Sun laughing in revel as they ransack the home, and then it's gone. It's just like this momentary, like, remembrance from the dream. It's not hallucinatory, it's not illusory, there's nothing magical, it's just a flash of remembrance of your dream and then gone. And the three of you rush inside. The door is still hanging open from this woman having carried her child out. Her husband is inside, checking around inside the house, doing exactly what you have come in here to do, Sarani. Just afraid.
I let Angus go in first.
Okay.
I'm not going to burst into his home first, because that probably would scare that everyone but Jesus out of him.
Just gonna like step inside gently. Mr. McDonald, hey, we heard what was happening. We're here to help us. Anything we can do. You said he wasn't waking up. Was it when you went to check on him this morning or last night? When did it start?
The wife and I woke up with bad dreams, and she was afraid, so she ran to his bedroom and checked on him. Tried to wake him up, and he wasn't breathing. He was all blue in the face. And
It's okay. Luna, she's a cleric, and my mother's there. They will find out what's happened, and they will find a way to make sure that it's okay. But we need to be sure that everybody is safe, that everybody watches themselves. It may be the same thing that happened earlier this month.
it's the damn witches. She said her sisters would be coming, and this is what we've gotten for it.
Sarani's going to gently enter the home and move towards where the child's bed was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to sit down and start to ritually cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
I'll accompany Luna towards the direction of the house if she's going, and just bad dreams.
All of you look haggard. Not
Yeah.
a single one of you look like you got a good night's sleep.
Figures. That's hags for you.
But it felt so real.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. I know. Alright, and then I'll push the door. Angus, everything good in here?
Fine.
Aside
So
from
it seems like
the
it might
screaming.
be the night hacks again. Do you know anything about them? Signs we can watch for, a way we could find them?
Can I roll
Arcana.
Okay. I'll pop guidance on this for a spark of memory since I have time.
Okay. While you're rolling that, Mother O'Galvin is comforting her, comforting the woman outside. Luna, have you gone towards the house with Mirth, or have you gone towards the woman and child?
I'm with Mirth at this moment.
Okay, that's fine.
Unless I'm just out of character because my audio got cut out. Did Angus say he will come and get us or not?
Everybody kind of rushed in towards the sound of the screams, and then Sarani asked Angus which direction this person's house was in, and Angus said, "Come on, I'll show you." And him and Angus and Sarani, Angus, and Sharp-Eye just went towards the house, which was in sight of everybody. Mirth told Vasir to go check the rest of the town to see if anybody else is like this, and he said okay, he was going to do that, and then followed behind the rest of the party.
Okay, then I imagine she'll like ask Mirth if he got it under control here, and she'll go towards the mother and her child.
Okay.
And if that makes sense, and if you remember when we were back in Lamil, when Mirth got infected with the same curse, so she like subtly kind of look at that location where he was infected just to be sure it was just a dream and nothing real.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. He looks okay. You don't see any signs of the icy growths that you experienced upon him.
Then yeah, like I said, she'll go towards the family.
The woman is crying over the child, and Mother O'Galvin is trying to comfort her and examining and trying to get her to put the boy down so that she can take a look at him, or at least bring him into the church where she can take a better look at him. And the woman is hysterical. Mother O'Galvin will cast calm emotions on the woman as she is soothing her to get her to at least start walking towards the church. And then she glances over at you and like glances towards the church as if to just kind of give you an indication of, you know, come with me. Let's get her out of the middle of town.
She'll like almost run towards the church, and when she gets in, she'll try to find like a table or something where they could place the child so she can investigate what's wrong with him.
Mirth, you've rolled 27 to find out what you know about night hags. And so here is what I will tell you. Between what the dance told you and your own study of such things, you know that they are fiendish, fairly powerful on their own, but far more dangerous in a coven. You know that they do have the ability to haunt nightmares. But the effect that they have had on the town this evening, that a single night hag would not have been able to accomplish what was accomplished here this night. They're dangerous. They're resistant to many types of magical damage. And they love to torment creatures into acting counter to their own best interest. You also know that they have they have the ability to craft certain magical items that are both incredibly evil and incredibly useful, but typically only useful to the night hag who has crafted it, that allow them to become ethereal and to trap souls. And they can shapeshift.
I was about to ask you something, but I won't anymore, because it won't work.
So that's what you know, Mirth. What were you about to ask?
I was gonna tell you if I can use Eyes of the Grave just when I met the mother of Angus. But like, since you said they can shift that out, then we don't need to do that just in case. I mean,
Gotcha.
wait, are the hags undead or fey?
Fiends.
Just okay.
Well,
mind.
Mirth can tell you that night hags are fiendish.
After listening to everything that Mirth said, Angus is just going to sort of be idly playing with the handle of his rapier. Don't worry, Miss MacDonald. There's one good way to find a witch. You stick him with something pointy.
Sharpeye's going to be outside once he sees what everything's going in. And Sharpeye will go outside and look for tracks, like if something walked up to the building.
Sharp-eyed, as you guys come out, Sharp-eyed is looking around for tracks, and when he comes over, he shakes his head no and says, "No thing walk here."
What about
Here at least. Sarani, they wouldn't leave physical tracks.
Oh. Well,
They
Sarani's. Well, I gotta finish my ritual. I'm casting detect magic.
Yeah, you cast detect magic, and there's no magic in the room.
Okay, I'm gonna walk outside and like study, like look around. Aside from the magic I know is on the party, is there anything? Then like Sarani's gonna do a quick like circle around the building a couple of times, getting further away from it.
Right. Yeah, you're looking around and you see no sources of magic in the immediate area all the way out until the spell ends. You see no auras of magic.
No. I'll come back over and tell Angus and Mirth. There's no lingering magical effects here. No permanent effects. So whatever happened was done and over with.
It would make sense. Mrs. McDonald, did you say it was? Do you know where they are? Where they come from?
John told me that they were the one they killed. It was in a cave up in the woods nearby. We could check that.
Mr. McDonald looks at you and says, "The only thing I know about these things is that they took my boy, and now they may have taken him again. Forever this time." Luna, inside the church, the mother finally... Mother O'Galvin finally gets this boy settled onto a pew and begins to examine him. And she looks up. The mother of the child is like looking down at him, like pleadingly, tears streaming down her face, distraught. And Mother O'Galvin examines the child and stands up just out of eyesight of this woman's gaze, and looks at you and shakes her head.
Shakes her head as in out of character.
As in he's gone. As in he's dead. She doesn't say it out loud. She just gives you this look and then shakes her head and places her thumb and index finger kind of like on the bridge of her nose and sighs and places a hand on the woman and says, I'm so sorry.
So just in case, Luna would still investigate, kind of, if he's really dead, and we'll try casting at first Healing Word just to see what happens.
You attempt to cast Healing Word, and it has no effect on the body of the boy. If you would like to examine him, I would need I don't even know if it would be a medicine check. I'll go with medicine. Vasir, as you're moving through town, you hear no other cries. You see no other shouts as you head throughout town. The place is still quiet in the earliest morning light. Those farmers and fishermen who are starting to go about their day are just leaving their homes. And other than the few houses that were disrupted from the cries of the wailing mother, everyone else seems, the further and further away from the center of town that you get, people just seem to be going about their daily routine as if things are normal. This is just a quiet village, fishing village, the further out from the incident that you get.
So it doesn't seem like there's anybody else who is experiencing any sort of like particular troubles as I expand my search outward.
I will tell you that the trouble seems to be centered around the church and the middle of town.
Okay. So Monsieur will go ahead and run back to everybody. And as he jogs back, he's a little bit more out of breath than he normally would be. Early morning jogs are kind of a part of his normal workout routine, but seems he's a little bit more affected than he usually would be.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives a little bit of a cough. Seems like nobody else has been affected.
Luna, as you arrive back, Luna, examining the boy, he's not breathing. His body is, in fact, a little cold as you examine him, as if he was dead a little while before his mother found him. In game terms, his hit point maximum was reduced in the same way that all of yours was. Only thing him being a small child without class levels, it dropped him below 0 hit points. 0 hit point maximum. You can't heal him because he has no hit points. He has no hit point maximum. He is dead at this moment. The mother also looks haggard, and Angus, you notice that the father had dark circles under his eyes. And now, Luna, looking at Mother O'Galvin, you can see that even she looks like she did not sleep well either.
There's a weird sound, or is it just something I can hear?
Oh, Alex, do you want to mute your mic?
Yeah, sorry. I suppose seeing all that, she'll cast, like, unwilling to let the boy go, she'll cast Gentle Repose, and she'll, like, excuse herself and go and find Mirth.
Okay.
Mirth's hovering outside by the house.
Mirth, can you come in here, please?
Yeah, sure. What do you need? And I'll follow her inside.
Should I take him to a quieter side of the church where she can talk to him in private, perhaps? she'll tell him that the boy was also. He seems like he was also affected by the same dreams we were affected by, but it was too strong on him. And she'll ask him, Earth, if he, like, what do you know about this? Have you ever seen anything like it in one of your books, or anything that can help him? Because unless we find a solution, that boy is dead.
Definitely not in the fairy tales. You can still revive him. He has been dead for much longer than a minute. So the less powerful ones won't work, and I don't think we have the resources for the higher level ones. But he should be able, like, out of character, if your hit point maximum is reduced to 0, you're dead. But I think you can still be revived normally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. You don't get death saves, right? You're just dead.
Yeah, you're just wipes.
But if you bring them back, it's not a curse, so it does not continue. It wouldn't continue to like.
Yeah, it's not a curse or a poison.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't get revived and then just immediately fall over and die again because he has 0 hit points. Okay, correct. Just checking. He should be able to be revived normally if you have the resources. That's the most I can tell you about the boy. I can't do anything about it.
I don't think we have any more diamonds.
We don't.
And I'm assuming you don't have any more scrolls.
No, I was rather tapped out saving other children. As far as I can conclude as to what happened, best bet is the hags were either present in the village in another form, or were at their cave, went ethereal, and then, of course, made no tracks as they made their way to the house and the church and wherever else they wanted to, and then cursed the dreams of everyone inside.
Yeah, well, that's something we gotta find a solution to. You think we'll find some diamonds here, and she'll turn towards Mother O'Galvin? Is she still in the church, right?
Yes, she's still there.
Then Luno will walk towards her, and out of earshot from the parents, she'll ask her, "Do you have any diamonds here in this village? I can probably bring the boy back."
Luna, it's a fishing village. They'll have nothing near as much we can muster.
I think if we're gonna bring the boy back, we gotta figure out where he went, right?
And besides, there's no point in bringing anyone back if they're going to come back the next night and do it all over again.
I think you said that, these hags are to blame for this, yeah? So, chances are good. These hags are magically powerful. And if that's the case, they might have a lot of magic stuff on them. And if that's the case, they might have diamonds on them. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Angus, you said that they found the one in a cave nearby, yes?
Up in the woods, near the mountains. Yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult to find. Can you send Steve to scout it out?
I can try to find them myself. 1 second. And you see Sarani kind of hold his arms up. You see kind of I'm going to burn a spell slot and use what has been considered to be one of the worst skills ever. Primeval awareness. And look for the fiends. Are there any of the listed creatures within 1 mile? Because this is not my favorite terrain. Unless this is in a swamp. Are we in a swampy area?
No. This is a rockier coast, actually.
Okay.
You're in a very New Englandish fishing village. Okay.
Oh yeah. Just checking. would be within a mile. I think that's your dryer, isn't it?
It's
Oh, yeah,
Alex's driver.
I'm just trying to.
I will answer your question momentarily. I believe the answer is going to be no, but I'm just making sure that I have my ducks in a row in answering it properly.
Yeah, there's an undead. And 4 dragons. And boy, we hit the jackpot here, guys. That's wrong. You didn't try to use that in the Feywild. Do you have a headache yet? Is there Fey nearby? Yes. Where? Yes.
There are no. There are no. What is it? Fey? Oh, let's see.
Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, Fey, fiends, and undead. It's a big ass list.
Yeah, within a mile of you.
Yes.
Within a mile. There's.
And it lasts for a minute, so I would run up to where, if we're in the middle of town, I would run to one end of town, or actually towards the cliff. I would run towards the cliff.
Sure.
Because it lasts for a minute, because I spent a first level spell slot on it.
There is Fey within a mile of you, but that is the only thing you sense within a mile of you.
Is that from where I'm standing, or when I get closer to the cliff?
When you get closer to the cliff.
Okay. So I'll return and tell the party, I didn't sense any of the fiends, but I did sense a Fey within a mile of that. And I'll point to like on the map there straight up, it'd be like the 4th house up.
I glance over at Steve.
Oh yeah, you would sense Fey.
Steve is in his bag. I haven't brought him out.
But is he out of his pocket dimension?
No.
Okay. Is Pendragon?
Pendragon's in Ravenreach right now.
Yes. Angus, you have a familiar too, don't you?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. Then yes, the only thing you sense is that there is or are Fey within a mile of the village, somewhere beyond the ridge.
Yeah, somewhere beyond the ridge.
You don't know exactly which
direction,
direction, how far, how many there are, what type of Fey it is. You know nothing about that.
Well, I can get the easy. That's why I said I was moving, because the easiest way to determine direction and distance is there's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing, there's something. Okay, so it's in that way. It's that direction in like this arc.
Yes,
here.
exactly.
It's the only way you can use that.
Yep.
So I'll return and say there is some sort of Fey in that area just north of the ridge. Or I guess, is that north, or that'd be west of the ridge?
Would Angus know any sort of local stories, tales, the sort of things he would have heard growing up, old wives' tales about Fey in sort of this region of Oregon?
The Fey have a very symbiotic relationship with the material plane, but there are stories about fairies that are in the forest. There's the typical tales about people who like go wandering off into the woods and like fall asleep for 1,000 years and then wake up wake up old because they got tricked by some fairy into accepting some kind of a drink or food or so there are stories about the forests and the mountains having fae that like to play tricks on local humans or local folks, you know.
But nothing specific to Darkhaven itself. Not the. Don't go near the giant tree or the or the brownie will get you kind of thing.
Darkhaven has had its share of lore of things that you don't want to go anywhere near being close to the village. So so yeah, I don't think I need to throw a specific fey creature in the mix with it.
Yeah.
You can say Slenderman, it's fine. Slenderman lives in the forest.
Yeah. If there's not it, so if Angus doesn't give me a specific like, oh yeah, it's the so and so, I'm gonna pull Steve out, send Steve in that direction. So go. There's Fae that way. Go see if you can find it and see what. Don't talk to it unless you know. Just find out where it's at, and I'll send Steve off.
Okay.
So the villagers see Sarani basically open his hand, and a little tiny winged monkey appears in it, and he whispers to it, and it takes off. Because Sarani couldn't get any weirder, right? Mm-hmm. Like Steve is going to go look. Mr. Giggles is going to go look. But I think that cave and this Fae may be our two best leads to find out. I know that some Fae can affect dreams.
These would be night hags because these are nightmares.
You said they were fiends, though, not Fae.
They are. So
Night
if
hags
those are
are
Fae,
fiends.
we
Yep.
could potentially be dealing with multiple types of hags, which would.
Is that common? Do they cooperate often, or do they mostly work with their own kind?
Often enough to make covens a thing.
Is it?
I'm not sure. Here,
Is it possible that can you use magic to disguise yourself? Could they be night hags pretending to be some other kind of a fey hag?
You can, although it's a very, very particular spell, and not one that's widely used.
Mirth, with a 27, I will let you know that there are occasions where hag covens aren't always made up of all the same types of hag, although that is something that is the most common thing. Just like that's something you know. Like Angus asked the question, so I wanted to make sure you had accurate information of like.
Yeah.
So would Sarani know too? That's my favorite enemy. So I have,
what's your favorite enemy? Fiends.
Fiends. And with the 16, because I have advantage on the survival. Like their natural habitat. Where would I find one? Like
I mean,
as he starts describing that.
Hags like to live in places that are close enough to people that they can fuck with them, but far enough away that they could retreat there safely. And they usually like to live in places that are both wicked and unusual. Hollowed out, evil, petrified trees. Like houses that have giant chicken's feet and can run around. Like crooked places. Things like that.
I'll ask Angus if there's any of those types of places nearby, like the cave. Is the cave a particularly unwell spot?
The cave is... Oh, go ahead.
Not as far as I know. I mean, we used to play in the forest a lot when we were kids growing up. I think it was just a natural cave formation that the night hag had sort of set up shop in.
How far out would you go as a child, Angus, playing in the woods?
like when he was younger, generally like not far enough than like being able to be called back home for dinner, but being like a little bit more bold and adventurous growing up. He did genuinely get into trouble for goading Hamish into trying to jump the ravine, and Hamish broke his arm. So, like, the older he got, the more further afield he would go. But then he joined a pirate ship when he was 14. So, like, 2-3 miles out of range at the most.
Okay. Okay. Then, yeah, you'd never found anything like Sarani is describing. You'd never encountered any strange women in the woods that like would try to lure you with candy or lived in a gingerbread house. It was just the woods, and sometimes it would get creepy, especially in dark dawns or late evenings. But
is there a local constable? Or is there a local ranger, like a tracker, a hunter?
well, I'll let you answer the question, Angus. You're actually there.
Not particularly. It's a fishing village. We make our living on the sea. The forest is there, and like occasionally, if the season's right, somebody might go in and hunt a little bit of wild game. But most people around here. Well, I mean, maybe that's going to change now that Lark's started training some people, but the average person around here couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a bow and arrow.
There's one person who gathered information like that in the town.
Jonas. Jonas might know.
We should speak to him.
Okay, well, go find Jonas. I'm going to do some tracking of my own.
Yeah, how about I tell you where he is? He's a historian, Mirth. So, you'd be able to talk to him. You'd be able to learn all sorts about the local area, and it would be very much up your alley. And please don't make me go see Jonas.
Oh, I'm sure there's something here to find out later, but I think I might be doing more important stuff. Luna and Visir, can you go check it out?
Okay.
You can stay here with me. You don't have to go to see him.
No. Sarani, I'll grab a guy. Jonas, he might be able to help. So again, context-wise, when Angus joined the Bloodthirsty Sun when he was 14, in that attack that took place, Jonas's wife Darcy was killed, and Jonas never really let Angus forget that he's part of the crew that murdered his wife.
Oh, goody. Are you telling Sarani this on the way there, or?
Yeah, but just generally. So here's why this is going to be awkward. Please, as much as I normally tell you to not take the initiative in social encounters, please do. Please be your weird fungal mushroom guy self, because hopefully that will keep him occupied and he won't be glaring at me the entire time.
Very well.
Do you have a few minutes before you go?
Just to be clear, who's gonna go with Angus?
It's going to be
See Jonas, I mean.
just Angus and Sarani, I think, unless anybody else wants to tag along.
I guess. I mean, the trackers.
But yeah, if Mirth's off for a minute, then Angus will be like, sure. Anything that you need right now, that's not me having to go talk to Jonas.
Joy, Mother O'Galvin, can you come out here for a minute?
Mother O'Galvin will come out. Joy stays in the church with the grieving mother.
Okay. I'm going to finish ritual casting Telepathic Bond and link all members of the party, Sharp-Eyed, and Mother O'Galvin. Provided she is. I'm telepathic bonding all members of the party, Sharp-Eyed, and Mother O'Galvin.
Okay.
Alright, so now we can all go. So you go ask Jonas. If you need backup, just shoot us some words. I'm going to go do some more magic. And Mirth is going to head up just a bit by like this top cluster of houses here. around there, and then begin ritual casting Commune with Nature.
Okay. The rest of you go to visit Old Man Jonas.
Just right after Angus and Serrani leaves, I'm gonna say that Luna, she's like very stressed and stuff because of that dream and the state they're in. She'll be like, I can't fucking stay here. I can't stand still doing nothing. She'll follow them.
And Angus is going to sort of like take Visir. Visir, you're good at talking to people, right?
I like to think I am.
Please take the lead in talking to Jonas so that I can fade to the background.
Fine. I'll take care of it.
And I've said it before, but I'll try to say it again to him that I am sorry about what happened. But I just need to find the right moment to slip that into the conversation.
If he's not forgiven you just yet, then it's probably going to be a long time. You can't always just get forgiveness whenever. It's up to them whenever they want to do that.
I know.
This is not about him. The information that we need from him. So hopefully he'll come around. Even if he doesn't want to forgive you.
He'd be pretty interested in saving everybody, I think.
Yeah.
He lives over this way. Just gonna sort of set off towards his house.
DM, would I know a way to prevent bad dreams as a cleric, or
Hold
that's
on.
not a thing?
Alex, can you mute your mic real quick?
Yeah.
I can't hear Nor when it's not. Go ahead, Nor.
I was asking, would I know about a way to prevent bad dreams as a cleric? Like, is that a thing?
Give me an
like-
Arcana roll.
If it counts as like a charmy, frighteny thing, protection from evil and good would work. But the duration isn't long enough to cover like even a quarter of the long rest, so.
That is correct, Mirth.
Okay.
Let me see. You rolled a 14. Another spell that might protect you if this is the hags would be a magic circle.
Oh yeah, because they couldn't cross it, right?
I'll just say that was just her thought process while going towards Jonas's house.
You arrive at Jonas's house. It's an older building, unkempt mostly. It looks like it needs to be. The garden looks like it hasn't been tended to in ages. The yard around the house is all overgrown and tangled with weeds and roots and like wildflowers. There's a dilapidated gate out front of the house that is all dry rotted and creaks in the wind as you approach. But you can see that there is smoke billowing out of the fireplace, out of the chimney as you come near. when you approach the door, a old man with balding pate and grizzled beard and hair kind of opens the door and says, "Ah,
Hi, Mr. Welsh. It's good to see you.
You."
Sir, Desir raises his hands. If you don't mind, we need to talk to you about potentially helping a lot of people here who are in a lot of trouble.
He,
A little boy died, and we need your help.
what?
A
A little boy died, and we need your help.
A child, an innocent child has died, and we need your help.
Oh, a child. Yes, a few had died, unfortunately. It's all the village has been talking about. It's worse than the time those damn pirates attacked.
We believe that the children are dying as a result of creatures known as hags.
Yeah, witches. Come in.
Right.
Come in.
Now we'll enter inside.
So Ronnie will step in too.
Luna will go in front of Angus, just like kind of shielding him from the old man, taking his mind off of him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Angus is stepping along behind, still has Horatio. He's just sort of clutching the little owlbear toy a little bit to his chest, trying to look more like the little boy that used to come here for history lessons and not the pirate.
As you enter, Jonas kind of hobbles towards a big, old, dusty, high-backed, like threadbare chair and plops down in it, leaning his cane against it. The room is filled with like stacks of books and journals and papers all over the place and thick layers of dust on everything. As you walk in, you see that the only real clear path between anything is like a path from the door to that chair and from that chair to the nearby like fireplace that is kind of borders the living area and the kitchen area. And the kitchen area has a big old, like, rusty porcelain basin that is covered in dishes, unclean dishes that have just piled inside of it. And he sits down, coughs a little bit, and says, "Oh, witches! Damned witches!"
Yeah. Witches. Do you know anything about where they might be located?
Let's see here. He goes picking through, like looking through the stacks of stuff. He kind of points his cane and says, that pile over there. Bring me that.
Okay.
And he starts looking through it. Here we go. Stories. Ravenreach Hills. He's flipping through the book. Here. He holds it out to you. I remember now. Long time ago. I must have been, maybe your age. Explored this whole place. Spent my youth wandering around. But here, back. Well, I don't know. I got some ideas, but there's this old... Witches like to live in scary places, right?
Yes.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah. See here, I found this place that was very strange. And very, did things. Made you see things. He points to it. Here, I got a little bit of a drawing. And you see in there, there's a sketch of a skull in the journal. He tells you up to the north in the mountains, about a day and a half from here. There was, about 50 years ago, a skeleton. Giant. Some kind of giant had fallen. And the skeleton had overgrown. I'm thinking it died back in that big old battle with that necromancer guy. And it's all overgrown. But as soon as you start getting close to that place, your brain gets funny. You start seeing things.
Maybe they are followers of Enon Bogmar. That's a possibility.
Eh?
Nothing. Just thinking to myself. Where did you say this was?
What was? What?
Ronnie will look down at where the drawing is and see if he can't parse from what he knows of the area a general direction for this thing.
I mean, it's not a map. It's just a drawing of a skull.
So he said north into the mountains.
Yes.
That's what he said. Mark, if I saw the skull, would I recognize it? Or is it's just a sketch of a skull?
It's a sketch of a big skull with the mouth gaping open. No, this. No, you don't understand that. This is huge. You could walk around inside this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't. Scared the ever-loving shit out of me. Oh, sorry. Don't tell Mother O'Galvin I said that.
It's fine.
I started... I see, when I was your age, I started seeing my little old grandma out there, walking around and just laughing at me. I said to myself, this can't be real. She's dead. And, yeah. Terrible place. You shouldn't go there. But, all that being said, if I had to guess, anywhere nearby, it's where witches would hide out.
Does he seem like an okay gentleman? As an insight check, does he seem okay in the head? Or he's out of it, if that makes sense?
He just seems old. The guy's probably in his 80s. When Angus said he was a bit of a historian, this is literally the guy who has cobbled together just all of the lore of the local area from having just wandered around on hikes for his entire young life, and then gathered all the stories that people would tell. From what I know, otherwise, there's that. I found this other place this once. It's the only other place I could think, but it was like blocked off. And I don't know if you can even get to it. It was just this. I told that girl who was here a few weeks ago about it.
That
Sorry.
which girl?
The fancy one from up in Ravenreach.
Lark.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, we can talk to Lark. We can ask her about this. Do you think we should probably get Mirth this book? He can probably look at it. Maybe he can find something this gentleman is not telling us.
What? Are you talking to me?
Out of character, I'm talking to
Oh, you're
Angus
talking out of character.
and Alex.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't realize you were talking out of character.
No, I wasn't talking out of character. I'm just saying that out of character. This is for Angus, Alex, Vasir, and Sarani.
You can talk in your head too, because you all have the telepathic bond. So if you're going to do that, let me know.
Yeah, okay. Then that's it. That was...
Yeah, Angus is just going to sort of relay back telepathically, like, it would be good if we could get Mirth to take a look at the book, but Jonas can be touchy about people taking his things. I don't know if there's really a term for it, but if you kind of take a look around, he's not the kind of person that throws things away, even when you probably should.
Telepathically, I can probably keep him company, keep him busy for a while. Like, he looks kind of lonely. It looks kind of lonely in here.
What was that other place?
He essentially tells you about two places. One is the tomb that he had found in his youth, with the symbol of Enon Volkmar carved into it, that was up in the mountains somewhere. He didn't remember exactly where. But I don't remember if the dance had told you that Maximilian had found the place or not. But that's one of the places he tells you about. The other place is essentially the boneyard of a dead giant that is off in the mountain. That seems to have some kind of a hallucinatory effect when you get close to it.
Angus, what do you want to do?
We have a couple of options. We have, I guess, landmarks we can look for. If Sarani's able to relay to Steve, and if I can head back to the church, I can help a little bit as well. It'll take me about an hour to do the ritual, but we can have two sets of eyes.
Well, I can have another set of eyes.
What ritual? What are you talking about?
So it's something Toralvaeus used to be able to do. I think I have all the pieces I need, but I'll need to be in the church to perform the ritual. I can make a familiar of my own, like Pendragon or Steve.
Oh, that's cool. Vasir, what do you want to do?
Well, it's worth checking out both places. If Angus is going to be doing a ritual, Sorry, I am a little tired. I think it would be a good idea at the very least to see if we can find if there's anything going on at either of these places that is worth mentioning. Might be able to find them there. That's going to be the most important thing. We need to address this sooner rather than later. So if we need to split up and do a little bit of scouting, then that's what we should probably do.
So have I heard back from Steve? And I'm going to tell him what we're looking for.
And Steve went looking for the Fae creature.
Yeah.
I will need a. Did you give me a survival roll for Steve?
No, I have not.
Okay. Or I guess it would be a search. He's searching, so I'll need a perception roll for Steve.
Just a regular one?
Yeah.
16 for Steve.
All right. No, you have not heard back from Steve yet, but he is searching. I will let you know what he finds if and when he finds something, because you've been at Jonas's house for maybe 20 minutes or so, and he's got to fly over that entire mile-ish area away from you, away from where you had been, to look for what he can look for.
Serrani says, I can help with this search as well if you're going to do that. Serrani steps outside and I will go ahead and cast Summon Beast. And I will summon the Flying one, which has a flying speed of 60.
Okay.
And it has Dark Vision. And I will send it to the mountains in the general direction that the old man gave us.
Okay.
And his job is to scout for a giant skull.
Okay. Again, Jonas has informed you that it is about a day and a half travel from the town into the mountains.
Right, but there should be in an hour it should be able to find some sort of path through the mountains. Like some sort of...
Well, first it would have to... Sure. First it would have to find... I mean, it can find plenty of paths through the mountains. It has to find the right path through the mountains, which means it would probably have to find the skull and figure out which path led back to the village from the skull. As opposed... Do you know what I'm saying? Like...
yeah.
I'm not saying that it... I'm not saying it's not a helpful thing. I'm just trying to think through logically, like, how it would work out. So, you cast this spell and send your creature flying.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just do the math on how far it can actually travel in an hour at max speed.
At maximum speed, if it was just trying to travel as far out as it could without focusing on searching... then at maximum speed, that's 120 feet per round. So that is 1,200 feet per minute. For 60 minutes. So 6,000, 7,000. 7,200 feet? I think. My math might be off.
No, there should be an extra zero on that.
Yeah.
70,000.
70,000.
It should be about 5 miles.
About
it should
5
be about
miles.
5 or 6 miles.
Okay. All right. So it will fly, even flying as fast as it can out for an hour, it will not be able to find the skull.
Right. At 5.
Maybe we should...
Go ahead with everybody else. I mean, I cast it and send him out to see what he can find. So
okay.
So
maybe we should regroup before deciding on a strategy what to do next.
Mirth, you've been casting a ritual this whole time.
Yes, sir.
What are you attempting to use this? You're casting Commune with Nature, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So I will need facts about powerful fae, powerful fiends, and influence from other planes in a 3-mile radius. I'll throw up the spell, but
Mhm.
I've used it before. 3 knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice as they relate to the area. I'm doing powerful fae fiends, and then influence from other planes of existence.
Okay. There's so you get 3 facts. One fact is that there is a sorry, gathering information quick.
Oh, that's all good.
It's 13.6 miles. Right.
Okay. So even moving at its maximum speed continuously for an hour, it would not be able to travel and what is considered a day and a half's travel for someone on foot. It can find a number of paths through the mountains, but it wouldn't know which one was heading towards, well, towards the destination you're looking
It can
for.
travel about a day out. This is about as fast as about what it'll get at 13 miles.
Most adventuring parties moving at a normal pace can travel 24 miles in a 8-hour period. Um, there's a there's a dryad in the forest nearby.
Okay.
So you know that. There's within 3 miles of you. There are no fiends within 3 miles of you, and there is no influence from other planes within 3 miles of you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that's the information that you have.
Can I ask for the old man if we can borrow his book?
Why?
We have a friend who's also a researcher who would love to look at it.
Oh, have him come over. There's plenty of room in here. You look around. There's not plenty of room in there. In fact, Sarani, you're barely inside. You barely could get into the building.
Serrani's got his head sticking in.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't come completely in. It's about all. Serrani's got his head leaned in, kind of like Hagrid does. And he's just kind of like leaning in.
Well, he won't take it for too long. We'll get it back to you as soon as possible.
He kind of like grips the book a little tightly as you say that. It's gonna stay in. It's gonna stay in town, right?
Yes, definitely.
Of course.
We'll be at the church. You can find us there if you want your book. We're friends of Mother O'Galvin.
He glances over at Angus. Yeah. Oh. How about you give me something to hold on to so I know that it's gonna come back?
Did you have anything in mind?
Something equally of value.
I don't know if we have anything of equal value to such a wonderful gift.
He points at Horatio, which is still in Angus's arms, as he has said. You just give me that little owl bear, and I'll hold on to that, and you can take the book for a little while.
Well, Angus, what do you think?
Internally, it's just this string of cussing. Okay, yeah, because we're doing this to keep everybody safe, right? So you'll keep Horatio safe too.
I'll set him right up here on this pile of books.
Set my beloved childhood stuffed animal down. I'd step away. And Angus is like internally like reminding himself of like, I came here to apologize and now I don't feel like it.
Yeah. All right. And Jonas like reluctantly holds out the book.
Luna will take it and like smile at the old man. Thank you. And she'll use thaumaturgy and say thank you.
You don't have to yell. I can hear you.
There's just dust everywhere.
You take the book, and Jonas gently scoops up Horatio and sets it right in his lap. Just like right in the crook. Right there. Don't worry about this little guy. I'll keep him safe.
Telepathically, she'll tell Angus, you forgot to tell us how charming the people were in this village.
I did. They're exactly as charming as I described them.
You take the book and head out of Jonas's cabin, back to find Mirth, who has been communing with nature. And why don't we take a quick break so I get some more water? We'll be right back. Oh, right. We have returned. I have to fix the cameras because we have a live Mirth in the picture.
I finished my soup.
That's totally worth it. So
Yeah. Angus and Vizier are in the same place. They didn't get moved.
Well, while he's adjusting the cameras, check out my cool shirt. This panda has a gun.
Oh my god.
And this will have to do for now because I'm not doing anything with my hair.
Yeah, it's fine.
See, I'm not scared about pandas with guns because they don't breed very fast. It's when it's when the trash pandas start to unite with the squirrels, then we're screwed. Like, because both of them have close enough to opposable thumbs that they can operate machinery.
Okay, but how do you know that the pandas aren't going to go through an explosive boom in population? Because pandas having guns is a massive turn on to lady pandas.
Yeah, still, there's not enough of them. Like, we have decades before they're a problem. Trash pandas are a problem right now. Those scary little bastards are not afraid of us.
Like, no offense, but that is the most boomer responsive. Well, I'll be dead by the time it becomes a problem, so I don't care.
No, I won't be dead. We will just have been able to devise a plan to deal with pandas with guns. Trash pandas with guns are a problem now.
Where?
The South.
Yeah, like anywhere south of Ohio is like I lived further out before I moved here back into the quote city, and the raccoons would get into my garbage, and I would hear them in my garbage, and I would open the trailer door and yell at them, and they would just pop their head out of my garbage can and go like, "What? I'm eating." Like they just totally did not care that I was there or wanted them to leave. They were just like, "Dude, it's lunch." Like,
Hashtag not a druid in real life.
Yeah, hashtag not a druid. No. The skunk, Steve, he could do whatever he wanted. I opened the door one time, went to yell at the raccoons, and there was a skunk. I was like, nope, do whatever you want, dude. It's all you. Shut the door. Make as much noise as you'd like. I'm not going to mess with him. Or otherwise known to those of us in the South as polecats.
It's nice to know that when we have these dead air moments where I have to adjust the cameras, Rick can tell insane stories to keep things.
You can go on for a while.
Yeah.
Rick, how would you handle a trash panda with a gun if it was posted up outside your house?
He'd run.
I would probably sick the dog on it first, to be honest.
That poor dog.
Oh god, yeah, no.
Dog's getting shot. You heard it here first.
No, because trash pandas are literally terrified of dogs. So,
But this one has a gun.
So how do we get rid of trash pandas with guns? Dogs with guns.
what's happening?
We're talking about things in the
Tactics.
most America way ever.
yeah.
How do you handle a gun problem? You just add more guns. That's how America handles things.
I worked in the Wild Wild West. That's one of my favorite things. Oh, do you want to be like the Wild West? Yes, everybody had a gun and nobody used them because everybody had one.
Wait until the cats get guns. The cats don't need guns. They're supplying all the other animals with guns and then sitting back and watching the chaos ensue.
I would just like to say, all hail the platypus overlords.
Why don't we play D&D? That's what we're here to do. Mirth, your party approaches you carrying a old, dusty, ratty, leather-bound journal. You're muted.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Sorry, what?
Your party approaches you carrying an old, dusty, leather-bound journal.
I didn't catch what Nora said.
Ah. Nora, what did you say?
Yeah, we bought him some homework to do.
You're like really,
I'll,
really hard to hear right now.
Yeah, you're. I thought that was just me, but I'll take the book. Essentially, it just has like a drawing of a big skull in it, right?
I mean, it has notes on his trip to that giant skull.
Okay.
If you want to like weed through his personal journal on exploring this area, you can do so to glean the necessary information.
I'll just look up at her and ask, "What do you want me to do with this? This looks like rantings of a hiker, not." Oh, he's drawn a nice bunny here, if that helps.
With a, I mean, you can read the description of the area, and if you have some local area knowledge, along with like a map, you might be able to plot yourself a journey to get to this location. Like, trace yourself through the woods, look for, or at least write down the signs of like where the trail went. Probably a cartographer role or a survival role. If you can, Mirth would probably need to pull out the information from the book and give it to someone who knows how to spot landmarks.
All right. Yeah, I'll take a look at this whenever I get the chance.
Well, I have a scout in the air now. If you can tell me where the landmarks are, I can have them look for it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Do you know where he went?
I sent them straight north, or
Okay.
straight west, towards the mountains.
If I can reference the map and try and line up any landmarks near the mountains, I'll have a look.
Sure. Why don't I get a, I guess it would be straight intelligence for research, and then from Mirth, and then a survival roll from Sarani to see if you can't map out the location, the direction of this.
Ooh, not one. That'll sting.
Does Mirth
Oh my god!
Does Mirth just have flashbacks
Oh.
to reading Shepherd's Journal and go crazy for a little while?
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
Yeah, 2 nat 1s in a row.
I have inspiration.
Yeah, use it.
Eh.
Oh wait, I rolled my survival. I got to find out what its survival is.
It could you could use its perception if it doesn't have survival.
Yeah, well, I have to figure out what it is.
It's your bird.
Yeah, it's small beast.
It's the summoned beast, right?
Yeah.
It is
Passive perception.
12.
Proficiency bonus equal to my bonus. So it'd be 4.
So it's 6. It's plus 6.
It's plus 6.
Let me see. It also. Okay, it does not have it doesn't look like it has keen senses.
No, it has dark vision and flyby.
Yeah, but it has a plus 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll use inspiration on that.
Okay.
Okay, so it has a 20.
Marginally better.
All right. You study the rantings of a hiker, as you put it, for a little while, kind of jotting down what landmarks he has written there. And your beast is at least able to get you going in a direction if you are to, as it flies down and it finds, like this particularly large oak tree bent in a certain way, or this rock formation that he had found on the trail, and the your summoned beast begins to like spot those things and transmit them telepathically back to your mind, Sarani. You have found the path that this hiker took to get to the giant skull that he has drawn.
I will relay it to Mirth telepathically so he can draw the map, or Sharp Eye, whoever has the best map making skills.
I don't know if anybody's proficient with cartographer's tools, actually.
Don't know either.
So
I'm certainly not.
it will just be, you just have kind of a trail map. Like, you just have a sense, you just know the direction.
I think Angus has navigator's tools. Would those be
Yeah, that's
similar?
more useful for like
ocean
following a map that's already been charted rather than like making a
compasses
new
and
map.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with your skill, you could give us a rudimentary map so that we could follow along.
He can give you heading and direction.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, it's this way here, it's this way here.
Yes. Between the group of you, you could find your way. You could probably make your way there. You'll just have to make survival checks every, between each rest to make sure that you are headed in the right direction and not getting lost.
All right, I say we get going then.
Before we go, shouldn't we ask Lark about what the old man told her?
I say we
Just in
check out the
case?
cave. I say we check out the cave first.
Okay.
It's closer. We already have a lead. And it won't involve a day and a half trek out where we might not find anything.
The cave that they fought the first hag in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or was that like cleared out?
Oh yeah, that was cleared out. There was a hag there performing rituals and summoning shadows to try and find the tomb of, or to try and find the Codex Mortem, because there were rumors that Enon Volkmar's there are, historically speaking, Enon Volkmar fell somewhere in these mountains. So they destroyed everything that was there. And if you contacted the dance, they would tell you, essentially, yeah, there was one hag there. We killed it. We banished the demon that it had summoned. We destroyed the ritual circle that it had created there, and that was all that was there. That's basically what they would tell you.
They found no evidence of anything else.
Correct. They have the hag's journal. / spellbook. Theo has that. So that's everything.
Well, then I say we follow this lead to the giant skull. Sounds like a dark place. Sarani says, I'm convinced that this is one of our best. It meets the criteria for where they would what they would call a lair. It is close enough for them to torment this village, but be far enough away that the villagers could not reasonably track them back to their coven.
Well, it's not like we have any better ideas.
The sooner we go, the better. My ritual can wait. And I guess I'll just head up to his room, get situated in his armor, and come back down, ready to head out.
It's a day and a half of travel to it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys want to start, I can catch up with you. There is something I need to get done here before we go, because 3 days is a good amount of time for someone to be doing something for me.
How long would you need?
A few minutes if people cooperate. Bit more if they don't, but honestly should let me get ahead of you guys pretty rapidly.
Do
We
you
will
mind
wait.
sharing? What will you be
I
doing?
need to get somebody to treat a cloak for me.
If there's enough time, would there be enough room on honesty for the pair of us? If I can get the ritual done, I would like to.
He's the size of a full horse. Feel free, and I can create more.
Let's at least go on ahead of them first, Sarani. We'll scout ahead. We don't need to actually go into the place before they catch up.
Yeah, you probably won't make it here on the first day at all, so
So we'll be
I can
we'll
keep
be
us
fine.
bonded.
We'll leave Sharp Eye here so Sharp Eye can follow my tracks.
That's smart. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sharp-eyed, me and Angus will stay here. I'll make horses for us.
Okay.
Luna, you're coming with us?
She looks a bit conflicted, but she'll
Well,
join.
what do you think, Luna? Everyone
Well,
else is.
I'll be more comfortable knowing that we're all together. But if you guys think this is the appropriate thing to do, then I won't stop you.
If there is concern, Mirth did mention that they're capable of shapeshifting. It may be a wiser decision for us to remain as a group and to establish a protocol to be able to recognize each other so that they cannot pretend to be one of us.
Mark, out of character, I fought a lot of night hags in Strahd, and I know the limitations of their shape-shifting. Would Mirth know that?
Yeah, you know what they can shapeshift into.
Okay.
Surrounding
You rolled
too.
a 27. That's fine.
Night
What
hags
about-
can only transform into humanoid females of our size, essentially. So they won't be able to transform into any of us except Luna, and if you keep Luna with you, then they can't. Alternatively, you could just wait at the village for a bit and we all head out together.
I think getting a little bit of a head start, just in case there is anything for us to take note of, would probably be a good idea. Besides, I don't really feel like standing around here waiting on nothing.
Okay then, if this is what you want this year. Do you mind if I just visit the church before we go? Just a quick moment. Out of character, I want to cast Word of Recall on the church, but I'll probably ask Mother Olgalvan before doing that.
Sure.
Yeah,
How long
Angus
does that
will
take
for
to
an hour
cast?
to cast his ritual as well, so we would have about an hour of time before Angus will be ready. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mirth, how long is what you want to do going to take?
I need to find somebody who can weave. So
This will probably take about an hour or two.
There is a weaver in town. If you would like them to work on the cloak, they can do that for you.
I would.
It is going to cost you. It's going to cost you the price of a traveler's cloak to have them. Or did I give you a cost for the entire item?
It was 1.5k in raw materials.
Okay, then that cost is just included in that. So when you
Okay.
do you know what I'm saying? Like the cost of
Yeah.
all the costs of making it are included in that. So, but it's going to take a work week for them
I
to.
know.
Okay.
I'm just getting started because it's going to take us at least 3 days more if we run into complications. So
Okay. So you don't have. That's fine. So you're not like it's not like a lot that you need to do. You just need to ask them to start working on the cloak.
yeah,
Okay, that's fine. You can hire a weaver in town to do that.
cool, done.
Actually, I'll say that she'll ask Vasir if he is willing to wait at least a while until she can cast that spell. If not, then she'll accept going. Like, since he really wanna leave this place. if that makes sense.
How long does a word of recall take to cast?
I'm trying to see. It's just taking.
1 action. You cast the spell in a temple linked to your deity, and the spell has a casting time of 1 action.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's instantaneous. Yeah.
Okay. So then
So she's asked. She would ask Lucia that before.
it's
moving
literally
forward.
6 seconds to cast it.
I mean,
so
you can walk in, cast the spell, and then leave, and just be on the road.
yes.
Okay.
Serani will transform into a warhorse.
Okay.
Unless there's something that's faster that she can ride on. Mirth's book. Mirth, does one of your books have a big lizard in it?
I have a cookbook for sloths. They're big toads.
No.
I still have mating. No, not really.
I'll
no.
turn into an elk. They're faster. Because I've seen elk
You have.
and horses. So Serani will be an elk that Luna can ride on, so we can maintain speed with at least a reasonable speed with Basir.
Fair.
We're still not as fast as Basir, but if with Serani moving at 50, I think the Flash can slow down just a little bit for us.
Yeah.
Because we do want to be.
I mean, that's
keeping
almost
an
as
eye
fast as Vasir, so yeah.
Yeah. We do want to be keeping an eye out. Right?
Yeah.
So.
That's at a jogging pace, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and that doesn't tire us out.
Okay.
Yeah.
You head out of the village.
And I recall Steve to me telling him to come find me.
Understood. You know you can dismiss Steve and then just have him reappear right beside you, right?
Oh, yeah, then I'll just do that.
Okay.
I'll just dismiss him and back into his pocket. Did he find anything before I dismiss him? Merce said there was a dryad out there. Did he find her?
Yeah, he found a nice dryad. They had snacks.
They had snacks?
They had
Okay.
snacks. Steve said he knows her from back home.
Oh, is she on the way?
No, she is not on the way to where you are headed. She is more in the forest rather than closer to the mountains.
Yeah, I just meant, is there? How much time would it take to deviate to her? Because she's just about a mile outside of town.
She's just about a mile outside of town. It would take. Hold on. Mathing.
Because a dryad would definitely have information on hags around here.
It would take you. Let's see. About a half hour out of your way. Just for the travel.
That's not saying to talk to her. How long it would take to talk to her, right?
Right.
Oh,
It's a half hour total to go to her and get back on the path. Would take a total of a half hour.
Oh, then I will relay that to the rest of the group. That Steve has found a dryad. It'd take about a half hour to get to her and then back to the trail. Total. Do you want to talk? Luna? Do you want to talk to her? See if she has information about these hags or the outlying area. Mr. Giggles
sure.
knows her.
Wait. When is this supposed to happen? Because there's something specific that might happen at the church, I guess.
Yeah, Angus has gone and got his pack, got sort of everything ready, and then has gone into the room where his mother keeps sort of like the supplies necessary for some of the religious ceremonies. And having previously sort of asked permission to borrow some herbs from the garden, take some of the sort of pre-dried, pre-prepared herbs and puts those together with some of the supplies he bought while we were in Ravenreach.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sort of in the main sort of entry hall of the chapel, you have the sort of traditional sort of meeting hall of the church with the pews. Off to one side, there's sort of like a tucked away little alcove with just like a curtain you can draw across the room that has like a small little shrine. There's a painted image on the wall of the constellation of Requiem. It's sort of fading a little bit, hasn't been had the paintwork retouched up. But this is a sort of little chamber where people want to pray privately or just engage in certain sort of specific ceremonies and rituals. This is typically where it's performed. Most commonly, the Dream of First Frost, the sort of ceremony that gets performed every year where the girls of the young village come together to see if they can be blessed with foresight and prophetic visions from Thunder herself. It's typically performed in this room, and Angus just sort of sits down in front of the brass brazier on the little altar, charcoal underneath, and the dried herbs that he prepared. So, sort of dried chamomile petals and sprigs of valerian root, and then some prepared incense of lavender oil fragrance, and pours that over the top. Takes a little light from the candle set on the alcove up to the side and sets it in lights. Sort of breathes in the fragrance that starts to pour off, this very aromatic smoke billowing forth, filling this small little chamber and disappearing up through a little flue up on one side of the wall. Sits and meditates in the way that Visir has been training him to do. It's a way that Master Torrigan showed to him can help him make contact with Thandra herself. And spends time getting into that headspace. It's difficult. There's been a lot of troubled times recently. He thinks back to Eldorath and wonders if they're safe out there in the forest, about the other elves, about everything that went down inside of Mithron. And now he thinks about the little boy laying dead on a pew out there in the chapel, and how he must find a way to make sure that that will not happen to anybody else here in his hometown. And as he thinks and concentrates, there's a little of that dread and despair about being cursed, about having this necrotic energy tainting his soul, and he can almost feel it in that way that became so instinctual back when he was firing off grave bolts without wondering where that power came from. But then there's also a light that over 400 years ago, an elf, a drow, found, that took him out of the darkness and led him to the surface world, into the embrace of Thandra herself, and that he dedicated himself to doing her good work in a way more sincere than any of Angus's bold claims of being the angel of Thandra. And so he concentrates, and he focuses, and he speaks a poem. And the poem is spoken in the language of Undercommon, which is similar enough to Elvish that as the words resound out through this chamber, Luna, who is waiting in the sort of main hall nearby, might be drawn towards it and sort of just poke her head into the little alcove and see as Angus completes the ritual.
As you
Sorry, so Irarinin Amil Seril Trial Siqualin Ilmothin Binzain Tekana Haladlar Zorahel. And it's not quite Elvish. The dialect's different. Some of the words, she can't quite think what they mean. Some of them, it's in that way that you understand bits of Latin if you speak any kind of Romance language, even though it's not quite the same. She can sort of see what the ritual is. Angus, this amateur caster of arcane magic, beckoning to the heavens, asking for assistance and help. And as the poem goes, this arcane caster is responded to by a messenger of the gods that appears in feline form, flying down upon silver wings. That it is a delver in poison and a seer of the unseen, and that it will be an erstwhile ally all through the life of this arcane practitioner. And so that messenger was for all of Taralvias' life until his encounter with Ina and Volkmar. And as Angus speaks these words in Undercommon, a language that he himself does not speak, but a ritual recalled and remembered from across a stretch of centuries, the smoke that has been pouring up off of this brazier begins to congregate and form and take shape. There is a face, there are limbs, there are wings stretching up. A pair of very distinct, very grumpy brown eyes form in this shape as Angus's familiar takes its form. A Tressim. And the wings burst forth and the smoke is dispelled. And Angus looks up and says, in Toralvias' voice, "Hello, old friend." And the Tressim flutters and lands and perches on Angus's head, and the wings flutter and rest and brush tears from Angus's cheeks. And Toralvias' voice speaks again in Angus's head, and speaks the name that this spirit had had while it was a servant to him. Simmers. And Angus smiles and says, "Well, that's a bit of a mouthful. How about I call you Smudge?" And I have been waiting so fucking long for that scene. You can probably tell by how fucking thought it was.
There's your picture.
I've been rendered unnecessary. You guys can just play without me.
I put a picture in chat of what which is appropriate because it's sitting on a skull. It's literally, that's the official picture of it.
You're familiar. Recognizes the voice of its old master and responds much the way that it always would have to him. In that cat-like way. You and Smudge emerge from the church. After an hour of intense casting. Probably the most intense casting that you've done yet.
Luna, I didn't see you. This is my familiar. Smudge, this is Luna. She's a cleric of Thandra. She's helped me an awful lot. And this like incredibly grumpy faced cat, it's literally just Grumpy Cat, but with wings. Sort of flutters over and sort of pokes its head inquisitively at Luna a little bit. Maybe gives her like a little bit of a lick on the cheek.
She'll awkwardly try to pet it, and she'll like smile at it and tell Angus, "We probably shouldn't keep the seer waiting. He's not doing so well." And like
Okay. You know him better than any of us. Hopefully, we can help. Do you have any idea what's wrong? Or is it just that everywhere we go, the demons seem to be one step ahead of us?
I'm not sure. We're here for a reason. So let's make the best of it. And like, again, she'll smile at the familiar and almost like guide them towards the door, so we can get a move on. Like, she's conflicted. She's on one hand happy for Angus, but like she's a bit worried for Vasir, and she doesn't want to keep him waiting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You gather together, and Sarani tells you that Steve has discovered a dryad in the forest nearby. It would take you about a half hour out of your way, all told, to go speak with her if you think it's a good idea to do, Luna.
I'm sorry, Mark. Can you repeat that, please?
Sarani has informed everyone once you all gather back together, or while you are waiting for Angus, that Steve has encountered a dryad in the forest just outside, about a mile outside of town, and that it would take you a total of a half hour out of your way to go visit this dryad if you think it would be helpful to what you're doing.
And is it like on our way, or is it
No.
in the other
You have to
direction?
go
No,
15 minutes out
it's
of
a
the
half
way.
hour
It's a
out
half
of the
hour
way.
out of the way.
Seeing how bad Vasir is doing, she'll probably ask him if he can wait, or like if he can spare this much time. And if he doesn't want to, she'll say that maybe someone else would go or something, or probably just not go.
No, it's fine. I'll wait.
I could leave now while Angus is finishing his ritual.
There's no point. There's no point, Ronnie. There's no point. We'll just wait, I guess.
She'll like take Vasir's head in her hands and like look him straight in the eyes. Vasir, it'll be fine. You
don't know that.
Do you wanna, like, should we leave? Should like head towards the forest and they'll catch up?
No, there's what would be the point, really, thinking about it? What we just head there first and then they catch up? Like, what? Maybe they want to talk. Maybe they want to talk to the dryad as well. You know, maybe they want to be a part of that, and then we skip ahead, and then they don't get to be a part of it, and that's not fair. And but you know, I mean, personally, I think talking to the dryad in general, I don't know, if we already know where these hags probably are, probably be a better idea to go attack them directly, I would think. You know, we're pretty good at taking things down when we know where they are and we know what to expect, which we kind of do. Mirth pretty much knows everything that we need to know as far as how they act and how they interact and all those sorts of things. So I don't know. I just feel like we waste a whole heck of a lot of time on nothing.
Vasir can see that Luna's extremely worried about him, and DM, if you'd allow it, she'll be casting guidance on him, but like like this warm energy that like kind of takes how to say this. Its intent is to make him feel better, if that makes sense.
Right, I get what you're saying.
If that is mechanically possible, even. I'm not sure.
Luna, look, you don't have to worry about me, okay? I just listen. I did not have a good night last night, and I'm guessing nobody else did either. I'm not dealing with it well because I haven't been dealing with it well. Haven't had the chance to really deal with it well. It's been a time. Plus, there's like a conversation that I've been wanting to have with everybody, but there's always something happening. I can't set everybody down long enough to have the talk that I want to talk. But I guess we'll just wait. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't even matter.
No, don't say that. If you want to say something, you should tell us. If you want, we can just leave this village, go towards the forest a bit, get away from this place, and you can tell us what's wrong. You can't be like this. This is not you, sir.
I just don't know if it's a talk that I don't think there's ever going to be really a good time to do it.
Then this is probably the best time for it. Come on, and she'll like try to drag him and head towards the forest. Towards I'm gonna say towards the hags, not towards the dryad.
Okay.
He won't really resist her, like, bringing him along. He'll just kind of sigh.
Luna and Vasir begin to head out of the village in the direction of the mountains.
Swanee will keep a good distance, but I'm going to keep them in eyesight and the rest of the party, and try to be like the halfway point between the people that are still in the village and Luna and Vasir.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just about done. I'll probably come up to the church on honesty and find Angus.
Angus is just gonna sort of like hop up on the back of Honesty, probably have like Smudge once again just on his head, probably just nosing at some of the sort of trinkets hanging from Swans, and Angus is just gonna be able to like encourage, be like, stop it.
Oh my god! Oh wait, is this yours?
This one's. Oh, well, he was Toralvias's. He's mine. I don't think he fully realizes that yet because he isn't listening to me, but this is Smudge.
You hear Toralvias's voice kind of distant in the back of your mind, saying he didn't listen to me much either.
Well, that's a relief. It's not me being bad, it's just a very, very rambunctious spirit, and suddenly I have newfound empathy for my mother.
Cats. That's why I followed a dragon and not a cat. They're cool. But he'll kind of poke him in the nose as he starts biting on one of Mirth's horns.
Sarani looks at the cat and pops Steve out and goes, "Say hi." And Steve flutters up towards Smudge and kind of looks at him, gives him that head tilt, reaches out to kind of like pet him just a little bit with one finger.
Smudge just does that cat thing where they like play wrestling for dominance, but like flying through the air. It just flutter of wings really rapidly.
So him and Steve is fine as long as Smudge doesn't actually claw him. As long as he's got his claws in, he's fine. Like batting at him, he's okay. When it starts to go a little rough and Smudge